Museum for the Amberley Steampunk Weekend 2021. We've made it. We're all here together again. And right here in the performance zone, in about 3 minutes' time, we're going to start some comedy, juggling, magic, all sorts of silliness. So do start to gather round, form a socially distanced crowd. And please do gather, ladies and gentlemen, please gather as closely as rules allow. But do feel free to, actually this should be great, because if you all stand about a metre apart, it'll make it look like an even bigger crowd than usual. I am going to be talking at this volume until my voice gives up, because it's been so long since I've had the opportunity to. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Gather round, gather round. We're going to start the show in approximately 2 minutes' time now. 2 minutes' time. I've suddenly realised, suddenly a lot of people looking at me. Not used to that. You can all just kind of pretend you're in a box about that big. It's how I've been used to seeing people for the last year. Right. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's already happened. Yes, that's right. I haven't even begun. My first show since I've been back, and already members of the audience have been distracted to take photographs of my wife. It's just charming, isn't it? I'm doing all the work, she's just standing there. But no, we'll take photographs of her. Let's take photographs of her just because she's better looking than I am. That's fair. True. Gather around, lady. Of course it's true. I'm not doubting it. There's no question. Look at us. I'm married upwards. Well, I say I'm married upwards. I'm married about 6 inches upwards, actually, when we stand together. Why, she's no longer allowed to wear heels. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, gather round. The show will begin in approximate, I don't know, what are we on now? 1 minute, let's say. 1 minute. Oh, my whip's broken. Oh, what's going on? It's a bad day. Have I lost the snap? I think I've lost the snap. Hang on. Don't mind me. Yeah, I'm not allowed to play with it in the house. Behave yourself. I will not have those jokes in this show. This is a family show. It's gone completely. Right, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to work. We'll move on. I'll tell you what. Oh, by the way, the show's started, okay? It's quite hard to tell, because I shout a lot before the show starts, and then I shout a lot once the show starts, and a lot of people miss that dramatic moment. But the dramatic moment is now. The show's begun. The next story I tell is kind of set up, right? It's the way it works. So, about 16 months ago, I made a big decision. I was sat there in my house, 23rd of March, 2020, and I turned to my wife and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a year off. Anyway, I spent most of the last year on the internet. And when I say on the internet, I'll be honest with you, I have visited some dark places on the internet. I have spent a lot of the last year in one of the darkest corners of the internet. It is a website, some of you may have heard of it. It is called eBay. That's right. Now there are 2 things if you don't know eBay. It's this site where you can buy stuff. And there's 2 things you need to know about eBay. The first thing you need to know is everything you buy on it is incredibly cheap. But the second thing you need to know about it is about 90% of what you buy on there is complete rubbish. However, I'll be honest, I got a little bit addicted. I was going on there, shiny thing, buy it, it's cheap. Shiny thing, buy it, it's cheap. So it's been like Christmas. Every day these parcels turning up. And about a month ago, a parcel came through my door, and inside it was this. And I took it out of the parcel, I looked at it and I thought to myself, Greg, what have you bought now? So I went onto eBay. And on eBay, I went back through my purchase history and I found a picture of this. And next to it, there was a title. And the title told me that this is a pom-pom stick. I thought, yeah, that stands to reason, it's a pom-pom stick, but I didn't know what a pom-pom stick was. So I clicked on the description, and the description said, you are probably wondering what a pom-pom stick is. I said, yes, I am wondering what a pom-pom stick is. He said, a pom-pom stick is a stick with pom-poms. I thought, yeah, obviously the pom-pom stick is a stick with pom-poms. But he said, you may have noticed your pom-pom stick has 4 pom-poms. I said, yes, 1 pom-pom, 2 pom-pom, 3 pom-pom, 4 pom-pom. He said, you may notice your stick has a red pom-pom, a white pom-pom, a yellow pom-pom, and a blue pom-pom. I said, yes, it does have a red pom-pom, a white pom-pom, a yellow pom-pom, and a blue pom-pom. He said, what you may not have noticed is the red pom-pom is attached to the stick by a piece of string. I said, yes, the red pom-pom is attached to the stick by a piece of string, except that it's not. The red pom-pom is not attached to the white pom-pom by a piece, to the stick by a piece of string. The red pom-pom is actually attached to the white pom-pom by that piece of string. I warn you, this is where it gets confusing. Because then I found out that the red pom-pom isn't just attached to the white pom-pom by that piece of string. Apparently the red pom-pom is attached to the white pom-pom by that piece of string, but it is also attached to the blue pom-pom by the same piece of string. I thought, hang on a minute, the red pom-pom is attached to the blue pom-pom, but I thought the red pom-pom was attached to the white pom-pom. This got me really confused, because if the red pom-pom's got attached to the blue pom-pom, I would have guessed, if I'd had a guess, I would have guessed that the blue pom-pom would have been attached to the yellow pom-pom, but it turns out not. Turns out the blue pom-pom's attached to the red pom-pom. But then I got to thinking, hang on a minute, if the white pom-pom's attached to the red pom-pom and the red pom-pom's attached to the blue pom-pom, stands to reason, doesn't it, that the blue pom-pom must also be attached to the white pom-pom. But if you think about it, if the white pom-pom's attached to the blue pom-pom and the blue pom-pom's attached to the red pom-pom, the question then becomes, what is the yellow pom-pom attached to? Well, the red pom-pom's attached to the blue pom-pom and the red pom-pom's attached to the white pom-pom, so obviously the yellow pom-pom's also attached to the red pom-pom. So let's just recap where we stand. The blue pom-pom's attached to yellow pom-pom, blue pom-pom's attached to white pom-pom, white pom-pom's attached to red pom-pom, red pom-pom's attached to white pom-pom, white pom-pom's attached to blue pom-pom, blue pom-pom's attached to red pom-pom. And the big question is, how can this possibly work if none of them are connected at all? Oh, the sweet sound of applause, I have missed you. When I say I've missed you, I don't mean I've missed you because of the pandemic. It just never happened before either. See what, speaking of the pandemic, because I was strictly told this morning, the boss came up to me, he said, Greg, people want to forget about the pandemic. Whatever you do, don't mention the pandemic. So, about a year ago, when all this started, and I realised things were going badly, I turned to my wife Felicity, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to let things go wrong. I'm going to spend the next year getting really good at one magic trick. That's right, I'm going to do my magic trick where the sign falls down. Whoa. Right, leave it down, otherwise it'll fall down again. No, I said I'm going to get really good at one magic trick. She said to me, couldn't you get really good at lots of magic tricks? I said, no, let's not waste time here. I'll get really good at one magic trick. So every morning for the last year, I have woken up and I've done the same thing. Every morning I wake up and I pick up this yellow piece of rope. I take that yellow piece of rope and I tie a knot in it. And that knot is called a reef knot. It just goes right over left and under, left over right and under. You pull that nice and tight, gives you a nice solid loop of rope. Then, because practice makes perfect, I take a second piece of rope and I tie exactly the same knot again. Remember that knot goes right over left and under, left over right and under. You pull that nice and tight, gives you a second nice solid loop of rope. Then what I do is I pick up the third piece of rope. Now the third piece of rope is something a bit special. That is this rope here. The third piece of rope is this rope here. That is a rope that I call the red rope. Okay? Now the red rope is actually the most important rope in the entire show. That's this one here. That is the red rope. Now some people do come up to me after the show and they say to me, Greg, why do you call the red rope the red rope? I say there's a good reason why I call the red rope the red rope. The reason why I call the red rope the red rope is that the red rope is a
red rope.
Fantastic, good, you're listening. I take the red rope and what I do is I tie the same knot again. Goes right over left and under, left over right and under, pull that nice and tight, gives you a third nice solid loop of rope. And at this point in time, I do have a small confession to make. I did just lie to everyone here. I have not woken up every morning for the last 16 months to practice tying a knot. I'm not quite that sad. What I wanted to practice was something I can only practice when I have an audience. It is something called misdirection. Now, misdirection is when a magician tries to make you look one way, so you don't see something happen somewhere else. For example, you know, so I got all excited about the red rope. I started to wave the red rope. I kept repeating the word red rope. As long as I did my job properly. Every time I said red rope, you will all have looked at the red rope. As long as every time I said red rope, you looked at the red rope, none of you will have seen the moment when I untied that yellow knot there and I tied it back up going through the blue rope like that. No, don't clap yet, sir. We're not there yet. Give it a chance. Because at the moment, that is just cheating. It is cheating because I currently have 3 ropes and each one of you has at most 2 eyes. You can't possibly watch 3 ropes with 2 eyes. So what we'll do, we'll make this a bit fairer. The red rope here, it's all on its own anyway. We'll ignore the red rope. We'll just watch that yellow knot there. Keep your eyes on the yellow knot. Whatever happens, whatever I do, whatever I say, do not take your eyes off that yellow knot right there. Keep your eyes on the yellow knot, no matter what happens, whatever I do, whatever I say. Do not take your eyes off that yellow knot. Do not take your eyes off that yellow knot, even for a second. What is going on over there? You're tempted, aren't you? You're tempted. No, keep your eyes on that yellow knot. As long as you all keep your eyes on that yellow knot, as long as none of you take your eyes off that yellow knot, even for a second, none of you will see me untie the red rope and tie it back up through the blue rope like that. No, don't clap that, because that's when I get complaints. You see, later on, some of you will go on TripAdvisor and you'll say, we had a fantastic time at the Amberley Steampunk weekend, but we didn't like that magician. That magician lied to us. He told us not to look at that red rope. So what I'll do, just to make this fair to everyone, I will show you exactly how this is done. I take that red knot and I hold it between those 2 fingers. As soon as that knot is held between those 2 fingers, I point at that yellow knot there. While you're all watching that yellow knot, that little finger there comes into play. That little finger dives in, unties the red knot, let's take that rope, tie it through the blue rope, tie it back up like that. Now, put your hand up if you saw me untie that red knot. Fantastic, young lady. Imagination is a wonderful thing. You hold it up for the rest of your life. Some of you are thinking to yourselves, hang on a minute, he lied to us once. Maybe he would lie to us again. The answer is, of course I will lie to you again. I will lie to you over and over again all day long. That is basically my job. You see, this had nothing to do with tying and untying knots. And this had nothing to do with misdirection. From the beginning, this entire trick was all about hypnosis. You see, about 5 minutes ago, I hypnotized all of you to think that these 3 ropes were joined together. In reality, of course, there was never anything other than 1, 2, 3 entirely separate pieces of rope, and that, sir, is when you applaud. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few minutes' time, we're going to have the fantastic Bear North over here performing for us, and before they do, I just forgot how much it's ruined the throat. Before they do, it is time for me to finish the show with a trick I have not been allowed to practice in 14 months. Oh, by the way, before I try this, I should point out that the boss came over to me earlier on and he said, Greg, we're talking with the health and safety people and they've decided it is not appropriate for you to juggle sharp metal knives. It is therefore important that we all agree that these knives here are blunt and they are made of plastic. Apparently, as long as we agree on that, I can still do it. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 knives, 3 knives, 1 idiot, and nobody clapping. No, by the time I've mentioned it, you missed it. Look, I'm going to make this really easy for you. If this knife here goes underneath this arm here and is caught in this hand here, that is your cue for a massive round of applause. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. There we go! Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. Here's the thing. This is my first show back at one of these big events at Amberley. And the amount of applause I get for this show will basically determine whether I get booked back. And so I'm pushing for a little bit more applause than that. So what I'm going to do to finish up this first show, I'm going to try something a little bit more dangerous. It's this. Just realised I've made a major mistake. I don't usually do this trick when my wife is in the audience. The reason for that is I may have told her 3 years ago that I would never do this trick again. I love you. However, we've come this far. If this knife here goes underneath this leg here and is caught in this hand here, that is your cue for a humongous round of applause. I will end my show, and in a few minutes we'll have a performance from Bear North. However, if this knife here stops here, it has gone horribly, horribly wrong. I will need an ambulance. I will need a new host for tonight's show. Here we go. In. In. Here we go. Here we go. In. But stop looking at me, you're putting me on. Okay. Oh, by the way, just because I completely forgot, I am not just an incredible juggler and a wonderful magician, I'm also a terrible writer. But I wrote this series of audio books. I say series, there's 2. If anyone's interested in hearing me talk more, I clearly am. But you can grab a copy of my audio books. They're £5 each. They're not good, but they're cheap. So if you want one of those, come and buy one off me after the show. £5 each for the audio books, but here we go. In. As someone having the right emotion at this point in the show, yeah, it's terrifying. I'm glad you got it. People over here are laughing. Here we go. In 3. In 3. That's no good. Sorry, I've just lost my nerve for a second. Give me a moment. I tell you what, actually, would you help me get my get my confidence back a little bit? And yeah, could you all do the countdown with me, please?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that fills me with confidence, doesn't it? Will you all do the countdown with me?
Yes.
Here we go, all together. 1,999. Okay, let's go from 3. Next time round. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Louder. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be back with live audiences. Don't miss out in a few minutes' time. Bear North will be performing just behind me, and I look forward to seeing you all later. Thank you very much.